I love the old type padded flock sponsors, but what I don't love is when the flock rubs off and you're left with this rubbery baldness. Stick with us, because by the end of this video I'll be showing you how to bring this back to its soft textured goodness. Trust me, you won't believe how satisfying this process is, so stick around to the end. And if you love football shirt restoration, please remember to click like and subscribe and leave your comments below. It really helps our channel grow. Hello there and welcome back. Over time, flock sponsors, these padded flock sponsors, lose their texture. The fibres wear down or even come off, looking them patchy, flat and shiny. No one likes baldness, and whilst I can't do much for men with hairless heads, I can do things for hairless sponsors. So let's go over to the other side and I'll show you how. So here we are over at the other side. Now this is really quite messy. So what you don't want to do is do this any sensitive electrical equipment. Would normally work next to our vinyl printer, but we've not for this demonstration because these fine flocking fibres will get in the printer and potentially damage it or certainly lessen the quality of the print. So bear that in mind. We're in the utility room at the moment, so it's nice and white clean. And what you can see here is the equipment you'll need. Now, this is the place we use, Flock King. It's a UK website and they do fantastic kits for being able to reflock things. So what does a kit consist of? It consists of this bag of flock, you know, these little fibres. You get some adhesive and a brush, and then you get this applicator, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now there's two ways that I'm going to show you how to apply the flock, and in my opinion the second way that I'm going to show you will give much better results. But what we're going to do is show you both. So first things first, you need the flock. Now what you can see is it might roll up into little balls. So what you need to do is pull it through a sieve. So put it in the sieve, just like you would flour, and it will separate out the fibres. You can see it's rolling it into balls, but they will eventually go. And in true Blue Peter style, here's some I sieved earlier. So this is all sieved and ready to go. So what I'll need is this funnel. It's actually one that I use to fill up the dishwasher salt with, because it's got a bigger exit than a normal one, but any sort of funnel will do. And we're going to fill up the flock applicator. Now I'm going to put that over one end and we're going to pour the flock into the applicator. Just a little bit of it, that's fine. Now what I should have said right at the beginning is you need to take some precautions with this. Not only can it damage sensitive equipment, but it's not going to be very nice to kind of breathe in. So what you need is a leopard skin face mask. It doesn't have to be leopard skin, it's just the one that I'm going to use because it's the only one that I could find. Thank goodness the camera is pointing down, not looking at me in a leopard skin face mask. But there we go, face mask is on, and now let's carry on doing the demo. So for the second method of doing it, I'm going to be actually doing it on a shirt, but because the quality of the result is better with the second method, I'm not going to use a shirt for the first method. I'm just going to show you what will happen if we do it on this P, which is it could be a P, it could be a D. It's off of a Charlton shirt. Red Bus, I think, was their sponsor. So let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to just get some of the adhesive and the brush, and I'm going to just get a little bit of adhesive on the brush, and I'm just going to brush onto the thing that I want to reflock. Now there's a fair bit of instructions in terms of precautions and preparing the area and everything else prior to flocking that come with the kits. So I'm not going to repeat all of them, read those instructions, but needless to say, you need to make sure the area is clean and free of as much dust as possible, and just get it all ready for the process. So here we go. That is now adhesive on it. Let's just put the brush out of the way, get rid of that. Now we've got the flock in here. Now the other end, we're going to put the applicator over the top, and you can see the other end has got holes on it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a pump. You just pump it away, keep going. It's not really a spectator sport, so give me a second. I'll finish pumping it and then I'll be back. And hey, if you've got a flock sponsor that needs some help and you're not quite sure how to do it, don't worry, we've got you. I offer a 30-minute video service where I can take you through step by step exactly how to do it. Loads of people have used the service and they've been really pleased with the results. So if you want to get involved, leave a comment below or drop us a message on our socials and we can sort something out. So here we go, it's now being reflocked, and what it says to do is to leave it for a good few hours. You really want to leave it a good 24 hours or so before you kind of touch it and stuff. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and like I say, true Blue Peter style, here's one I flocked earlier. And what's really important to do is when you're applying the adhesive, you want to make sure it's not in clumps on there or anything like that. You want to make sure there's a nice uniform amount across the area that you're going to reflock. And with the applicator, you just pump it away like that, and obviously you're wearing your mask, and it will stick to the areas, and just keep going round it. Only a small amount of flocking comes out of the hole while you're pumping. So you need to keep doing it from different angles and what have you, and you'll be left with this sort of result. So that's using the tools that come with the flocking kit that you can buy. Now, there is a better way, in my opinion, of doing it, so stick with me and I'll show you. And if you need quick answers to any football shirt restoration questions, check out our free AI-powered chatbot, Kit GPT. It's the quickest way to get answers to questions without relying on me to respond to you via one of our socials. So, link down below in the description. So now for the second way of doing it. Now this comes with a little bit more expense because you need this giant torch looking like thing. I bought this on eBay. They're available from Flock King as well. But what you need is you need a metal tin like this, and I'll explain why in a moment. You still need the adhesive and the paint brush. And now we're going to restore this lovely Arsenal shirt with a rubbery but soon to be flocky JVC. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the shirt over the metal tin. Now the reason for using this metal tin is because what the tool, this tool here, this applicator tool, which I think is much better than the tool that comes with the kits. They're still good, they still work, but this gives better results. It creates a static charge, and that makes the flock fibres stand on end, so that when they hit the adhesive, they're standing on end and give you a nice finish. But the way that it does that, like I say, it creates a static charge, so it needs to have something to create the static, and that's the metal tray behind. So the applicator, this, comes with, it's battery powered, and it comes with a cable with a crocodile clip that's just going to clip onto the metal tin. So now we've got that done. Apologies, the JVC is upside down. It's a bit easier to do it that way. What we've done is we've put some of the flock that went through the sieve, although for this you don't really need to use a sieve because the end of it almost is a bit of a sieve anyway. So you put some of the flock in here, and there's a nice on-off button here that we'll use in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to Get some adhesive on the brush. It's quite a big brush. I probably should use a smaller brush, but for the purpose of this, it'll be fine. So I'm just gonna lightly apply some of the adhesive to the JVC. So we're part way through applying the adhesive, and what's become very clear to me is this brush is just a little bit too thick. So I'm going to use a very fine brush to apply it. And what I'll do to be doubly sure to get a good result is to use some masking tape to tape up around the letters. So we're part way through taping up. Little tip for taping up, where you've got an angle like this, use some scissors just to get a nice clean cut, and then you can apply it. So here we go, J is all taped up. Now we're gonna turn on the flocking gun. In fact, before I do that, let me just close the adhesive just so it doesn't all get in there. We use this nice small brush. I'll put a link to all the things in the descriptions, just to go round and make sure it's nice and uniform and neat. So with our flocking gun, we're going to turn it on, okay, and we're just going to tap it over and around. You can see where there's a kind of an electric field that's been created by the metal tray. What it's done now is it's nicely applied it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go round and do the rest of the letters. JVC all taped up. Now let's apply the adhesive. Adhesive is all applied. Now let's make sure it's turned on. Give it a bit of a sprinkle. Now that looks pretty good. So I'm going to let that set for a bit and then I'll show you the final outcome. And here you have it, the finished article. A now furry JVC that's been reflocked using the methods I've shown. So what did I show you? So there were two methods of reflocking. The first one was using the applicator that it came with. So Flock King being the company where we bought the kit from. I think it was £15 for a kit. You get some flock with it, some adhesive, a brush, and you have the applicator. You can either use the applicator directly over it, or you can hang the shirt and spray it at it that way. That was the one way of doing it. The way that I actually did this one was using the electrostatic charge device. It looks like a giant kind of torch with a cable hanging off it, and that created that charge, that static effect, so that the flock stands on its end as you sprinkle it down onto the adhesive. We used a sieve to make sure the flock fibres are broken up and not clumped into balls. For this one, because as you can see there's a blue outline, we taped around it to cover the blue outline so that only the white is visible, and then you use a fine toothbrush, a thinner one than the one you get with the kit. The kits are actually really meant for doing dashboards on cars and things like that, but it's worked well here. So I used a really fine paintbrush to go round and apply the adhesive, making sure, like I say, I've taped it up. I've left it overnight, 24 hours. I've removed the tape and I'm left with this lovely, furry, bright, reflocked JVC. A tip that I would give for something like this where there's two colours, I would apply, if you're going to apply, use a marker or something to recreate some colour, do that before you apply the flock, because the flock can affect the result that you get from the felt tip. So you go for this one, you would go around the outside in the dark blue so that it covers it. Then you take that all up, apply the adhesive, do the magic with the flocking gun and the flock, and you are left with this. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions or anything that you want to know, you can leave us a comment below. You can contact us via our social media. I would warn you that now you're looking at maybe a week or so before I can get round to responding, because we get so many messages in. But if you don't want to wait that week, use KitGPT. Again, link is in the description and it will give you instant answers to all the questions you have. If you'd like to take it that step further and have a one-to-one video session with me, again, drop us a note, leave us a comment, more than happy to make it a reality. And if you've enjoyed this video, you're going to love these two.